Business Minds, pioneering and inspiring entrepreneurs. Creative talks, CEO insights, success stories, and financial education. This is the CEO Show. Hosted by Business Minds, pioneering and inspiring entrepreneurs. Creative talks, CEO insights, success stories, value markets, and financial education. And Dan. Business Minds, pioneering and inspiring, and by Dan. This is the CEO Show. Hosted by Dan. Business Minds, pioneering and inspiring entrepreneurs. Creative talks, CEO insights, success stories, value markets, and financial education. This is the CEO Show. Hosted by Dan. Business Minds, pioneering and inspiring entrepreneurs. Creative talks, CEO insights, success stories, value markets, and financial education. This is the CEO Show. Hosted by Dan. Business Minds, pioneering and inspiring entrepreneurs. Creative talks, CEO insights, success stories, value markets, and financial education. This is the CEO Show. Hosted by Dan. Business Minds, pioneering and inspiring entrepreneurs. Creative talks, CEO insights, success stories, value markets, and financial education. This is the CEO Show. Hosted by Dan. Business Minds,
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome once again to the CEO Show. And for the first time, we're coming to you very late, but we are really sorry because of technical issues. But nonetheless, we are live on air. Remember, this is a show that we always come to you every Tuesday, and we look forward to bring you amazing personalities from different industries. People who are going to speak about their journeys and where they are. Most importantly, the lessons that comes with what has taken them to be where they are, and basically what is it that they have achieved in life. And from these, you're going to be inspired, you're going to be motivated, you're going to be educated, and definitely you're going to be incited, and also to inspire you to achieve whatever you want to achieve. And tonight we have another amazing guest prepared for you. Last week we've been talking about a different topic, but tonight we are talking about a totally different topic. We are talking about real estate management, and what is it that takes to invest in real estate, and also what is it that it takes to manage real estate, because managing is different and also investment is a totally different area. And we have somebody who has a vast knowledge when you talk about real estate, and not only real estate, but also when you talk about its management. Who is our guest tonight? Our guest tonight is none other but Mr. Dan Melly, who is the director and founder of DANWILL Investments Limited. And not only that, but he's also the vice chair of KNCCI Uasin Gishu Chamber. This is somebody who has vast experience in real estate and also in leadership when talk about business. Welcome to the show. I am your host, Dan. But before we engage in, we are coming to you live on YouTube and also Facebook. And also tonight we are coming to you live on TikTok. Welcome, and make sure that you comment and share this particular podcast for somebody to know that you're watching, and also for us to know that you're part of this conversation. Kiongozi, karibu.
Thank you so much.
You look good tonight.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yes.
Sorry, we've kept you waiting, but we are here to do this.
We understand.
Who is Dan Melly?
Thank you so much.
Okay.
First of all, let me greet the viewers from whatever platform they are watching us from.
Yes.
This is a very good evening, and I'm honored to be here, as well as privileged.
Okay.
Melly is
I know you have a lot of hats, but in a nutshell.
in a nutshell,
yes.
Melly is a resident of this county, born and raised in Kiplombe.
Yes.
Yes. Born to a nursery school, teacher, and a driver. Just from that humble background.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes. I'm also a business person. That is why I'm here.
Okay.
Founder and the CEO of DANWILL Investments Limited.
Okay.
I'm also a business leader, the vice chairman of Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Industries.
Okay.
Was in Gishu. I have also a family. Yeah.
You're also a father.
I'm a father to 3.
Okay.
Dawn, Chebaby, and Dylan.
Oh, perfect.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm also an elder in my church.
Okay.
In fact, I am the chairman of Christian Men Fellowship.
Wow.
Yes.
That's amazing. But just to...
Apart from that, I'm also a farmer, a small-scale farmer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Aspiring to be a big...
Aspiring to
large-scale farmer.
Yes.
Okay. But now, Dan, looking back to where you've grown, you've told me that you were raised by a driver, that was your dad, and
yes.
also your mom was an ECD teacher, yes. Calling nursery back in the days. You have siblings, right?
Yes.
And how was it you growing up back in the days at Kiplombe, and the aspirations that you had as a young boy? I'm sure you went through a lot of challenges, in just a few, but to where you are currently, what can you say that, where was your source of inspiration from a young guy? Yeah.
Thank you. I think the source of my aspirations, I articulate to my parents. They brought me up in a Christian way. I remember very well, we used to pray as a family. We used to go to Sunday school through the instructions of the parents. I owe a lot of respect to those people. Dan, I think my schooling was unique. As I told you, my mom was a nursery school teacher. Your gaze is as good as mine.
Yes, yes.
Especially when you think of a mother teaching her own child. You know? Sometimes I used to call her mom in school.
Okay.
So you can imagine the number.
So you had a benefit of association.
Yes.
Okay.
So I grew up like any other child of the village. Yeah, I told you that I was rooted in the church, and so that molded me to who I am. I went to Kiplombe Primary School, proceeded to high school, and then, of course, with the challenges of school fees and that, I had to delay a little bit from proceeding to university. I remember very well when I completed my O-levels, that is KCSE. I stayed at home for close to 3 years, but I did not stay just like that. I was employed to the same school I went, that is Kiplombe Primary School, as a trained teacher, popularly known as UT.
UT.
Yes.
Okay, okay.
So I worked there for, I think, 2.5 years. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think some of my products, some of my students are watching us.
Okay.
It feels so nice, especially when you go back to where you are.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, just going directly to now the business world, and you coming to Eldoret. Now Kiplombe is outside town,
yes,
definitely,
yes.
and you coming to Eldoret town. Where was the source? What was your journey to Eldoret? Because sometimes you find that somebody came to study, sometimes somebody, but now forgetting about studies and more into it. Now talking about the business world and you venturing into, before even bringing to birth the DANWILL Investments Limited. How did you hustle your way to
First for Dan, I think my entry to town was really amazing because I landed a job, a marketing job, in an Indian shop. So I used to go around marketing the books.
Okay.
So I went round to schools using motorbike. And the contract ended. I think it was for around 8 months. The contract ended. And so I said to myself, because I've known how to ride motorbike, I'll not just stay at home. So guess what happened?
You went to be
I
a boda
ventured
boda?
into being a boda rider.
Okay, that is back in the village now.
No, in town.
In town.
Yes, I was plying KVDA, CBD, and then in the evening I go home.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was your first kind of job.
First job. Yes.
Other forgetting about the marketing.
The other
the
one.
marketing.
Yes.
Okay.
So what happened is that is what I did. I did the boda riding, but unfortunately it did not last because unfortunately, you know, I was slender, and you can see I'm short. So one day in the evening, I remember very well. It is reminiscing in my mind. There were two ladies, well built. I think they were weighing around at an average of 90 kilos. So you can imagine me being the driver.
And these are your passengers.
Exactly.
Okay.
So what happened? It was unfortunate that we slept, and then the motorbike, I think, went down. That was the end of that journey.
Okay.
Because the ladies now were very hungry, and they went ahead to call another rider.
Okay.
And then I went home. I did not come back to town.
Okay.
That was the end of the story.
That was your last.
Yes.
But Dan, I want to just in an overview.
Yes.
Because there's a business that we are seeing it coming, especially in Eldoret town. We are seeing it. We have a lot of motorbikes. We have a lot of stages, and sometimes when you go, for example, to Uganda, it becomes more of a nuisance. But now, people who are doing this kind of business, how viable is it?
I can say boda riding or boda business is a very good and viable business because it goes with the growth, urbanization, and growth of the city, you know, people moving from rural area to urban centers. And it is the most, you know, accessed mode of transport.
True.
It is very efficient because when you want to maybe maneuver through the jam, motorbike is the best option.
Okay.
And so it is a very good venture. The only challenge is that it is not well managed. The policies are not there. It is not enforced to suit the kind of intention that was meant.
Okay.
Yes, although it's a very good venture.
But also it is one of the modes that spurs economy of any city for that. More than
Economically wise, it is the best.
Okay.
Yes.
But speaking to somebody who does this kind of business directly, how can one grow in this kind of business? What are the factors that they need to consider? And also, what are the things that they need to look into with regard to finances? And sometimes you find that these lenders take advantage of them because they spend more in acquiring these. What can you say in a nutshell before we proceed?
Yeah, maybe what I'll say is that for boda riders, or rather those who are in that business, first of all, they have to be compliant. They need to be compliant with traffic laws because that is where they lose a lot of money. Both traffic rules and also the county government, because they are there also to enforce how they operate. So make sure as a boda rider that you are compliant.
Okay.
Secondly, make sure that you have financial discipline because it is, I told you, it is a lucrative kind of business. True. Whereby by the end of the day, you might close the business with over 2,000 shillings. So if you are not financially disciplined, to know that this motorbike I acquired on credit, so you need to set aside some amount to repay the credit. Sometimes you realize that these guys are being auctioned because they did not remit maybe what is due for credit.
Okay.
And that is where the problem is.
Okay.
Yes.
And also, I'm tempted to ask, because you represent also traders in Wasingishu County, do you think the county and also the environment that they are operating in is good for them? And what do you think we can do better as a government?
Generally, I would say that it is not that proper because because of the growth of, there are a lot of motorbikes in town. And you know, controlling and managing them is another thing. And so maybe what I'll just request or urge maybe the county government is to come up with ways. Of course, they've done that before, you know, arranging these guys into circles, making them understand the law, making them submit maybe their licenses fees through the circle, drawing some stages for them and managing the stages. I think that will make it better.
Okay.
Otherwise, if they are left just to operate the way they are, it is going to be messy.
It should be structured.
It should be structured.
Then you came back to town after.
Then after that, now my brother was a taxi driver. That is where then I landed. I found myself being a taxi driver.
Okay.
Yes, but it did not last for long. And then now I went to the university now.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, going to the university, I went and studied business management, human resource option. Immediately after the university, I met another friend of mine, and I owe a lot of respect to that person. It's called Paul Ruto. He saw my abilities. I was the chairman for youth in DCC, for those who understand. And so he saw my abilities as a leader, and he approached me one evening and told me that I have a business.
That is the bishop?
No,
a different person?
It's a different person.
Okay.
He told me that I have a business in town. Him was based in Nairobi. He told me I have a business in town. I want you to come and assist me in marketing. The business was real estate.
Okay.
The place is Sedco Consultants Limited.
Wow.
So I agreed to his offer, to his request. And so that is where I found myself, you know, in real estate, marketing the properties, doing the business, the real estate operations.
Okay.
That is where I drew my aspirations
and
passion to real estate.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now DANWILL came into being?
Yes.
Okay.
DANWILL now came into being after another guy, while I was still in Sedco. There is another friend of mine called Kentai. He used to call me Chief. So I was wondering, what is this name Chief? Until one time I asked him, why are you calling me Chief? He told me, you look like one. You look like CEO.
Wow.
Yes. That nourished my inner spirit.
Okay. That indeed you can
Hearing
become one.
that I can become one. That drove now my passion and my aspirations to become one. And that is how we came up with DANWILL Investments Limited.
Okay.
So I resigned from my previous job, that is in Sedco, and then now come and started DANWILL Investments Limited. That is in 2014.
Okay.
Yes.
How was it now being a CEO, being a director, running your own company, having done the same, like being employed under the same kind of industry? Now, what were you thinking? What were you thinking to bring into the market that was new from what your competitors were offering?
I think, Dan, at first I thought it was an easy thing.
You thought it was just
I think it was just a walk in the park.
Okay.
Just moving from my previous job to now doing mine.
Yeah.
I thought
Attaining
I
the
would
data
better.
of the
Yes,
chief.
I think I will better and now become the real chief. But it wasn't easy, my friend.
Okay.
It came with a lot of challenges.
And responsibility.
Remember, I don't have a salary. All the savings that I saved in my previous job, I've used them to pay maybe rent, to buy a table, to set up an office.
Yeah.
And after 2 months, no salary, no income, because the business is new. And I think it is flashing back in my mind. I remember going around now, doing marketing for DANWILL. It wasn't easy because people were telling me, one, we need a reputable company. We need a company that has experience. We need a company that has been there for quite some time. So I was imagining, because mine was just 2 months old. So you can imagine. I went to the bank trying to request them to give me credit, at least to remain afloat for a number of months before I settled. But to my surprise, the banks declined. They say the kind of business you ventured in is classified as a risk business. Oh my. I saw darkness. But now what kept me focusing and going forward is the passion.
True.
Passion of real estate and also the experiences. And this name now, the chief.
The chief, maintaining the name to main it.
Yes.
Okay, and then again, because we always have this fear of leaving employment to start your own company, and most people will always leave their jobs forever because next month I'll have to leave and run my own business.
Yes.
Because of fear of unknown, because of not being sure of what is expected. How did you handle the fear of unknown and jumping out of employment, leaving the salaries and also some good allowances, because I'm sure you are doing good.
Yeah.
But now, how did you manage to fight that fear and run your own company?
It's true. I got aspirations from one, Robert Collier. Robert Collier said, success is a sum of small efforts repeated day in, day out.
Day out.
So I trusted the process. I trusted the steps because I knew one day, one time, all these steps that I've taken will earn me something. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And now, what is the wholesome? What are you dealing with now as DANWILL? What are your services?
Oh yeah. Okay. DANWILL Investments Limited. We are offering services of real estate. We are overseeing the operations of rental units, for example. What property management involves is rent collection, which is a problem to so many landlords. And so we are coming in to bring a solution of making sure that we do a timely rent collection. Number two, we assist also in financial management. That is, now after collecting, we do reconciliation, we come up with monthly statements. We track the expenses and advise accordingly. Number three, we assist in filling out the voids. And before we fill up the voids, that is the empty spaces, the empty units, we do what we call tenant screening, which is very important. And I will encourage landlords today that you need to have this in mind so that you don't allow anybody into your units. Do tenant screening. By doing tenant screenings, you get to know the history of this tenant. If he is a good payer, for example. If he has, legal issues, litigation issues. If this person is a good person to rent your unit. Because this is an investment. Remember, real estate is capital intensive.
True.
You use a lot of money to venture into that industry. And so if you don't manage it well, you can run the losses. Fourthly, what we do, we manage also service charges. For example, where rental units have more than one owner, that is a community. We also assist in managing those rental units. Managing the service charges. And we also manage the service providers. We've got security, we've got cleaners, we've got garbage collectors, and so forth. Name them, all of them.
Okay.
That is our work. We also assist in repairs. Okay. We advise landlords or investors on what needs to be done to improve and add value.
Okay.
Yeah. So in a nutshell, that is what we do.
Oh, perfect.
Yes.
Now, Dan, I'm tempted to pose this to you. People always fear houses that are being managed by agents. And sometimes mtu atauliza, is it managed by a landlord or is it managed by an agent? Why the fear with
it
the
is
agents?
true. The fear is because, an agent will follow some processes. Never at one point should they bypass because they know the consequences. And so they fear because as an agent, I'll have to screen you first. I'll have to know you, to do the background check, so that at least once I'm certain that you are a good person, I give you that. So people like bypassing this process. Secondly, an agent will stick on timelines. For example, the law provides that rent should be paid, it is a prepaid. So rent should be paid on or before 5th. I'll come to your place on or before 5th, and I'm expecting you to pay. As opposed to, you know, landlord himself or self-managing. They will have some, you know, mercy, because you'll have a different approach. But mine, I'll approach in a professional way.
Okay.
So that is where they fear. Yeah.
Now, you from where you sit now as a director of DANWILL Investments Limited, what are some of the challenges that you think you face as a company?
There are a lot of challenges. One, as a company, I think there are financial challenges. Number two, with emerging trends, you know, we need to embrace technology. And by doing so, we need to acquire systems so that we remain at par.
Okay.
So, and these systems you find sometimes they are very costly. That is one. Number two, these systems, from time to time, you have to change. So that again is another cost. Number three, challenge number three is that you will get some policies which are not, you know, favoring us as a business. It favors, for example, if we go to court with a tenant, for example, courts tends to, you know, listen more to the tenant than the property managers, for example. So to us, that's another challenge. And then the issue of now employees. You can have employees who are not trustworthy. Remember, these services paid on trust. And so if you get employees who are not trusted, then it means a lot to the business. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And now investing in this kind of business, how intensive is it? Because you've done this for quite some time with vast knowledge and also full of experience over time and doing to, I'm sure you have a good portfolio, a good number of houses, good number of properties that you're managing. Now, investing in this kind of business, how lucrative is it, and what does it take for one to operate this kind of business?
I'll encourage someone tonight that investing in real estate, for example, as a business is lucrative, as you've said. Number two, it is not capital intensive as such, because you just need knowledge, information, know-how of how real estate operates. You need a small office for consultation, and that's it. So it means everybody is capable of doing this job. It is lucrative because the rates have been set. We are commission agents. When we manage your property, we get 10% of what we collect. When we sell, we get 5 to 10%. So it is a lucrative business. Only that you need to be compliant. You need to follow all the processes for you to remain a reputable company. And there is a law, Act 533 of the Act of Parliament that regulates this business. And so you need to be registered as a member, because that same body is the one licensing you. And so every year you need to have a license for you to operate. That is required in law. You cannot, if you do that, it is an illegality. In fact, if you go to court and tell the court that you are a property agent or a property manager, for example, with no license, then the court will not listen to you. So it is equally important that you be compliant. Yes.
And sometimes people are crying a lot about, there is something known as a deposit. You being a property manager, there is something known as you prepay for some times. For example, you're told to pay deposit for 3 months. But that is not a problem with many people. The problem comes when they vacate and they tend to recover their deposits. And most people cry fault of agents about the same.
It is true.
And sometimes when somebody thinks of getting some for legal redress with regard to the same, it becomes a challenge. But where most people have been hindered about getting their deposits back.
Yeah.
Now, from where you sit, Do you think you are justified by just getting some math that we need to? Because I'm a victim. I've had an experience. They'll always give you some math. This is a new house that I've just came in, and I chose to leave after 3 months, for example. But they'll give you a breakdown on how your deposit is going to be consumed. They have to repaint the house. They have to do this and this. But you can see that the house doesn't need. Do you think sometimes you become unfair?
I think first things first. Dan, I think as a practice, what we normally do is at the first point, at the entry point, we tell you these things, and we advise that you sign a lease agreement. This is a legal document which is binding.
True.
And it is used in the court of law. And so if you read maybe through the clauses that are in the lease agreement and then sign it, it becomes binding.
True.
And in most cases, it is highlighted. Deposit issue is highlighted, very important. That one, deposit is meant for you not being able to pay rent. Remember, it is deposit on rent.
True.
And then after that, there is a clause that says you'll have to return the house to its original form. And so many people confuse deposit being returned and deposit being utilized as rent and deposit being used to do repairs.
Okay.
It needs to be very clear in the lease agreement that if deposit is supposed to be returned, it is supposed to be returned and not deducted. No amount should be deducted. It should be returned in full. But then now the question is, if you've damaged the house, it is your responsibility. Because I gave you the house in a very good shape. You are now living, and you are leaving the house in a bad shape. Who will meet that cost? So it's that's a question of, trying to balance. It is true, the deposit is your right. But then what will this investor do with the damages in the house?
Okay.
Yes.
Now, you being at the middle of all this, between the house owner and the tenant himself, that is the person who owns, you are at the middle. What are some of the risks that you guys take it?
You are just reminding me what the bank says, that it is classified as a risk business. It is true. We are in the middle between the tenant and the landlord.
True.
Whatever we are collecting, the whole amount is not ours. We just remain with our 10%. The remaining amount we deposit to landlord's account.
Okay.
A risk comes when, for example, you've agreed with the landlord that every 10th of every month, for example, you deposit all the amount. So, and the tenant, for example, defaults and run away maybe at night. That is now a risk because you've already given out your money and the tenant have vacated. So it will be very difficult for you to recover that.
Okay.
Yes.
And now moving now to the part of the owner.
Yeah.
Sometimes you find that they are very hesitant to let their house to be managed by agents, and that is building your portfolio as a director and also starting a company. You convincing these owner to surrender their homes or their houses to you to manage. Do you think people have understood the importance of letting property managers do it professionally? Because sometimes you find that they develop cold feet to let them.
I like especially the last part where you are saying they lack information. It is a matter of information.
True.
And I agree with some of them because they are victims of con people. Remember, this business, even though it is regulated, there are people out there who are doing it illegally. So maybe at some point in time, maybe these landlords are fallen victims of these con people.
True.
You realize somebody will say that I am a property manager, for example. The owner entrust all the income to your company or to you as a person. And then you collecting the money, you run away with the money. So there is that trust issue. And that's why so many landlords fear. But tonight I want to encourage all the landlords that it is equally important to have a professional. Because this professional will save you a lot of things. Will save you income, will save you a lot of court cases, will save you a lot of time. Remember, there are a lot of things in management, including tenants' complaints, yeah, and so many other things. So if you engage a professional, you will get your things at the right place, as opposed to, you know, managing yourself. Because a professional will advise you on so many things. Property market is very dynamic. For example, a house that was built back 10 years ago, you cannot compare to a modern house that was built recently. And so we will have to advise you as professionals that you need to up your game, you need to add value, you need to redo, you need to restructure to meet the current market. Yeah. So don't overlook and say that a property manager will not assist or I'm able to do these things. There are things that are hidden that you will not be able to do. Yes, as a person.
Okay. Going now to the real estate as a business of itself, because you definitely you have experience having handled the same and having seen the cash flows. And do you think it's a lucrative business now as an investor point of view? Do you think, because sometimes you find that there are people who have different thoughts and from different school of thoughts. There are some who will think that it is capital intensive, and by the time you recoup your money, it takes a good number of years, which sometimes to some people it looks like it's not viable. Do you think it is a viable business in this time and age, considering the intensive capital that one needs?
It's true. I think to answer you is that I think shelter is a
basic need.
Yeah, and so you will never miss to have a shelter. And you can also see the government is putting a lot of efforts to have these houses. Because as per the vision of the government, 2030, they want this country to be a middle income by 2030. And one of the ways this country will become a middle income is by infrastructure, is by development.
True.
Yeah, and you can never miss, you know, real estate in the mix. And so it is a lucrative business. Only that you need to understand. There are some aspects that you need to understand as an investor. You cannot just invest because somebody else is investing. You need to do your market survey. You need to do feasibility study. You need to know what are the opportunities you are looking at before you invest. And I'm telling you, if you sample all those aspects, you will imagine and you will agree that that is a lucrative business.
Okay.
Yes.
Because one just to look into those factors that one should consider before investing in this. Because you find sometimes somebody gets a lump sum probably after retirement. You find that after 60 somebody gets what do you call this, some pension, and then they go and invest, graduates, they go and invest their whole money into it. But before going into it, there are some factors that one needs to consider, and that's something that I also want you to mention. As before you mentioned the same, just to acknowledge our viewers who are still coming in, want to appreciate you. Remember, our guest tonight is Melly, who is the director and also the founder of DANWILL Investments Limited. Tonight we are talking about real estate investment and also management of the same. These are topics that I'm sure you've been lingering into your mind, and also, is it a lucrative business for one to venture into? Please tell us what are some of your thoughts, and also if you have a question tonight for our guest, don't hesitate to drop on the comment section, and also to appreciate who are coming in. Thank you. Aisen Kimtai is saying that he's watching live from University of Eldoret. We have Delight Funeral Directors who are watching also. We thank you. Isaac Koech who is watching. Gladys Kimtai is watching. Ruti Ator is watching. We have Ruti Ator saying, hey Dan Melly, great job. And then also we have Geoffrey Kipsang who is watching. Boniface Kiboro is saying that he's watching live from Sigor, West Pokot County. This is quite inspiring. Thank you, sir. Sam Some more, Ezra Kipruto is saying that he's watching. Koich is watching. Cheriot Isaac, thank you for watching. Teresh Joseph is watching also. And also, Teresh is saying that keep up the good work, Dan Melly, Mr. Dan Melly. Pongezi, Honorable Dan Melly Kosa Dan. Thank you, sir, Joseph Melly. Koima Moses is watching all the way from the US. Joseph Melly is saying that following the show, it's good to see Director DANWILL Investments Limited articulate issues related to real estate. I wish homeowners and property owners could watch this particular show. Nikki is watching some. Thank you so much for your concern. Tell us where you're watching from, and also if you have a question with regard to real estate, and also specifically about management. Have you ever, do you have the thought of agents, covered agents? I don't know what you think, but Dan is making it clear why you need a real estate manager or agent. It's very important for real estate owners. Dan, we're talking about now the factors that one needs to consider before even investing in real estate. It's a lucrative kind of business and also an investment that people need to consider. But before you go into it, what are some of the things that one needs to consider keeping money constant?
Thank you, Dan. One of the things, and which is very important, is what we call ROE. Return on investment.
Okay.
You need to consider that.
Okay.
Because you are venturing in as a business. And of course, being a business, you need some returns. So you need to get maximum returns. So that is very important. It goes hand in hand with location. Location also is very important. There is also amenities. You need to check around and see if there are amenities around, because it is very important. And you know, it informs future developments. It involves it it informs you know, the opportunity costs that will be associated with your investment. Again, you need to know public policies. You need to know, I've said, you need to do market research, at least to know the current rate and to know the prospective rates in future. Yeah, otherwise it is a lucrative business.
Okay.
Yes. Let me mention something on return on investment. The maximum return on investment here in Kenya is around between 8 and 10 years. So you will consider an investment viable when you calculate and see that the return on investment is 8 years or 10 years. If it goes beyond 10 years, then it means that it is not viable. You will take more years to recover or to get the returns. Yes.
Okay, so anything above 10 years, for you, it's not viable?
Not viable, yes.
Okay, okay.
Because you need the shortest time possible to get the returns.
Okay.
Yes.
And looking now in terms of current times, we see investors who are doing, let's say, the latest kind of furnishes, and sometimes it means they invest a lot into it. We talk about finishing, we talk about amenities, as well as the interior of the house. This is a commercial kind of business, and they invest a lot into it. Do you think it's still viable? Because sometimes we find that even the kind of because people want something good, but to now they invest. Do you think it's viable?
It is done because you know, everybody wants value for money. For example, today, if my house is just ordinary house, and yours, you've done all those things that you're mentioning. You've got good interior design. You've integrated, you know, the smoke detectors. This modern finishing. Do you think people will choose mine or yours? Definitely yours will be chosen.
True.
And that means that you will get people who will need those houses because they are good and they feel that it is value for their money, as opposed to just an ordinary house. So it means for this ordinary house, the turnovers will be huge. You will get a tenant for this month, the next month, the house is vacant. But for you, the one you've invested a lot of money to look really nice, you will not get turnovers. It means that you'll get tenants throughout the year. Yes.
Okay, and now going to the future, and it's something that you mentioned also about technology and all that, but we also have different emerging trends that are coming into the real estate investment and also real estate as a business. Do you think that there are some that people, what are we looking into the future of this kind of business?
I think the future of real estate is one, diversification.
Yes.
You need to diversify. I'll encourage investors tonight that if you are into real estate, for example, and you're specialized into rental units, it is high time now you move from rental units, you go maybe to commercial spaces, you go to warehouses, which are very scarce, especially in this town, and it has good returns. People are looking for a storage where to store their goods, and so it is high time that you diversify. Number two, it is high time that you apply 1% rule. 1% rule done is a rule whereby you make sure that what you are producing in a month or what you are collecting in a month is 1% of the purchase price. And by doing that, it means that you'll have to study the market.
Okay.
Know who are the target group, do what they want or what they require, do as per their specification, and you will acquire that 1% rule. Yes. Another strategy is, we are calling it BAL strategy. That is BURL strategy.
BAL strategy.
Yes, it is called buy utility, rent luxury.
Okay.
It is a strategy that works so well because buy utility, it means this utility is what you want, what you need.
The need.
Yes. But the luxury, you don't need.
Okay.
I'll give you a scenario. For example, Dan, today I have a 6-bedroom house. My kids are still small. Yes, we use all the rooms. But when these kids grow up, they will definitely go. They'll move to places. They'll go abroad, for example.
You remain with your wife?
I will remain with my wife with 6-bedroom house. Is this a need to us?
No.
It's a total waste because we only utilize a master bedroom and a sitting room. The rest of the rooms, we will lock them.
Sometimes you become a visitor to the other rooms.
Sometimes you become a visitor.
Okay.
So what we are advising investors is that because you no longer need this house, it is high time now you rent out and you go and buy
A smaller.
a smaller unit which you need. The calculations there is, for example, you are renting this, I'm using example, at 100,000 shillings.
Yes.
And then you go to maybe a semi-urban area and you purchase a unit where you will be paying 50,000 as a purchase price. For example, in a month, how many shillings will you save?
50.
That is a very good strategy. The money will keep you, going.
Okay.
Yes. So it is a matter of, embracing the strategies that are there, emerging trends, and embracing technology and so forth. Yes.
Now, with regard to the same, and you're a social economist in a way because you interact with business people and also you're a business leader. Do you think sometimes we buy need or do we buy luxury? Because sometimes we are led by show off. Like I need to have a big house for people to see.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's not about the need.
Yeah.
Because when you see developed countries, sometimes you find that somebody is a tycoon, but they live in a well-furnished timber house, not as and even not fenced, probably. But sometimes, do you think we buy luxury or we buy utility?
I think we buy luxury, and especially as Kenyan, and that is where we go wrong, especially with young people. Having too much expectations about life. The definition of life is provided you are okay. But now, because of expectations, because of peer pressure, because we want to impress people, that is where we go wrong. We go buy luxury as opposed to buying the need, what you need at that moment. And, saving into the future. For example, if today, Dan, you buy that house as a luxury, you buy a car, you live a lavish life. And then after some times, these things disappear. What will inform your future? It means that you live a miserable life. And that's why you see people now gambling. And it's a very serious issue at the moment.
True.
Yeah? People are becoming local pilots. You know, aviator. You find people, you know, gambling with over 2 million. I saw somewhere today in the internet, somebody gambling with 2.8 million. Surely. Tell me, if the 2 million...
But the guy was very sorry and he was asking if we can support him back to
That is now where the problem is. We need to get things right. We need to sensitize our people that there is no wealthy that comes easily.
Okay.
Yeah, it takes time. Yeah, it takes time. Okay. Success is a sum of small efforts repeated day in, day out.
Day in, day out.
Yes.
Okay.
That is what Robert Collar said.
Okay.
Yes.
Then regarding the same, there was a discussion sometimes back in the internet when talk about something known as dead capital. You see somebody is doing well in Nairobi probably, or here in Eldoret City, you're doing very well. Somebody was asking, does it make sense for you to build a good house in the village where you spend only Christmas, or you build a good house in the city? What are your thoughts?
I think Dr. Julius Kinmesi convinced me otherwise the other time.
Yeah.
We met, and he told us that it is not making any economical sense for you to live in Nairobi and you build a 10 million house in the village, where a house girl and a gardener will enjoy, yourself will not enjoy. So to me, it's a total waste. And I'm agreeing with Julius. It is a total waste. Instead, you better now invest in something that can give you an income. Because one, it is very expensive to maintain such a house. Yeah. Number two, you don't enjoy. Yes.
Well, people really ridicule you when they come back to your home and they find that you've invested nothing. But in Nairobi, you're a manager.
But my friend, it is better for you to be ridiculed for not staying or not having a good house, but you have liquid. Yeah.
Okay.
Your life will go move on.
Now, in regard to in direction of business, sometimes also there is a school of thought that believes that sometimes you better rent a house, you better rent a business premise rather than building. And sometimes there is a flip of the same, that people will prefer to build rather than rent. And sometimes you find that there are these serious entrepreneurs who, with regard also to vehicles and what have you, sometimes they'll prefer to lease rather than doing what? Acquiring and building. Which one, where is the line?
Now it depends. It depends with your needs. All these things are pegged on your need. What is your need? What is your priority as a person? If your priority is short term, maybe you are in Eldoret for a short term, then there is no need for you to build. Yeah, but if you are in Eldoret for quite some time, then maybe we can encourage you to build. But now, when you are here for the shortest time, it is ideal that you lease.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Now, yourself, you're an HR practitioner, as well as you've practiced marketing. How do you put now, and marketing is always the heart of every kind of business.
Yeah.
How do you put now this business to grow and also to ensure that it keeps on going as a director? When talking about marketing now, how do you ensure that the going concern bit of it keeps on 10 years later, 20 years later, we still have DANWILL going on?
I normally say, Dan, that any business depends with the vision bearer.
True.
And the vision bearer is always the leader or the CEO. If you are focused and you know that you are doing all that it takes to make sure that you have your vision right, then you will remain focused. And all your efforts, all your mind will be on that business. And so what we've done as DANWILL is that we want to be the leading business in that industry. And you cannot be a leader just by staying. So you have to put some strategies to make sure that you remain in the market. And so what we've done is that we are now doing a system, a software, because we want to simplify this property management aspect. We want to avoid human interaction, and so we are moving to a digital space so that at least we simplify some of these practices. And by doing that, it is a strategy, because we know once we are into that system, it will be very easy for people to interact with. And so we will not need, a lot of operations, a lot of human interactions. It will be online. Again, what we've done is that, as you said, marketing is the art of every business.
True.
And so we are investing a lot in marketing to make sure that people know what we are doing, to make sure that we brand ourselves well, to make sure that we go out there and tell people that we are here, we exist, and these are our solutions.
Okay.
Yes.
In connection to the same now, because we are living in the social world, they talk about social media and all those platforms that you're using. Do you think it's because as young people, and most of them are watching tonight, do you think we need to sensitize more into the young people to consider using this platform for their benefit in terms of growth and business and establishing business in this, because rather than using it for fun and
entertainment.
Yeah.
This is what I normally tell my staff. We normally hold Monday meetings every week, and every week I tell them that this is an opportunity that has arisen, and this is a platform where everybody is there. For example, TikTok. I realized the other time, majority of people who are in TikTok are above age 45. Then you wonder, what are they doing? It might be for entertainment, but I know majority of them, they are customized their TikTok so that it is filtered so that they get the information that they require. So what I like the young people tonight, and I know they are watching us, please let us use these social platforms to enrich ourselves. You can have an idea, you can have a project, for example. You can have a product that you want to sell. Instead of you posting a selfie, nobody will buy a selfie. People will just like them, tell you look smart.
You get more likes.
And it does not, monetize. So what we are advising them is that get a product, get a service, monetize the service, monetize the product using this platform, because so many people are in these platforms, and trust me, you are going to sell.
Okay.
If it is service industry, if it is a product, it is going to sell.
Okay.
Yes.
Tying to the same, being an HR practitioner and also a graduate of HR, sometimes we say that now when somebody wants to be employed, sometimes our social handles plays a critical role.
Very important.
Do you think it's a factor when somebody is being employed? Are there scenarios that the employer will have to go through your handles?
Personally, before I hire any employee or any potential employee, the very best thing, the first thing I have to check is the social media handles, because I want to know what kind of content do you post. I want to know if you will come to my office, for example, spend the entire day, so I'll see the frequency of you being there and what you are doing. So it will inform. Employers use that as a tool, to filter out people. So I'll urge also the young people that let us use well these platforms. It is very important. Don't use them to, do evil, because people are watching there. Don't use them to do things that are not in line with your profession. Yes.
Okay. Now, as we wrap up on DANWILL now, because I say that our time is much spent, 10 years later, 20 years later, where is the future of DANWILL Investment Limited? Where do you want to take it?
Thank you. I think I'll go with the vision of Kenya 2030. And I'm agreeing with the government that by 2030, we want this country to be a middle income. And the only way we need to do is investing in real estate. Because, you know, real estate, you will never miss real estate. Go to any place. I was in China the other time, last year. Every day, there is house mushrooming in China, in every city. That tells you that there is a secret in real estate.
True.
Yeah, there is a lot of demand in shelter.
Okay.
And so I'm foreseeing maybe in the next 20 years, people, I mean, the shortfall of people not employed will be now absorbed in the industry, for example. They'll get jobs. And you see, the president is always advocating for this, that let us build these affordable houses so that at least we absorb some of the youth who are not employed.
Okay.
It is true, it is employing. So what I think, and as DANWILL, what we've agreed to do is that we are going to move our services to match the modern world. We want to embrace technology. We want to move into the space and make sure that we do what other people are doing globally.
Okay.
And the most important thing is that we will not go if people are not also sensitized. And so what we've agreed is that we are going to roll out classes just to sensitize the general public about the importance of investing in real estate, importance, you know, of getting professionals to handle maybe your investment and so forth.
Okay.
Yes.
KNCCI, as the vice chair, where is the place of KNCCI in the business world of the city, and how important is it to any business person?
Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Industries is umbrella body of business. We are here in Uasin Gishu. Our headquarters is in Nairobi. We've got other 47 chapters. It means in every county we've got Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah.
That is not enough. Globally or regionally, we also have chambers of commerce.
True.
In fact, the Kenya National Chamber of Commerce is associating itself with other 200 chambers of commerce globally. What does that tell you? This is a very strong organization that advocates for the interest of business people. It means that it is a bridge between the people doing the business and the policy holders. That is the government, both local and national. Yeah. Trying to make sure that the business where, I mean, the environment where these businesses are is conducive. Trying to align implementation of policies to their businesses and making sure that we expose, that is what we do at Chamber of Commerce, trying to expose our businesses to other businesses, trying to expose businesses to global markets.
Okay.
That is what we do at Chamber of Commerce. We try to build networks. That is what we do.
Okay.
We ensure that you as a business, we want you to grow. What are you dealing in? We look for partners that are doing the same to support you.
Okay.
We champion maybe for good environment. We champion for the rates if they are high, for example. Yeah, that is what we do at Chamber of Commerce. Yes.
Just in an overview, being in leadership for this time that you've been, and also still in leadership, what are some of the things that you think are very important that you've achieved as a chamber at the top of at the point of leadership?
Yeah, I think as a leader, one of the leaders, of course, we have our chairman and we have directors.
True.
We are doing this collectively to make sure that we do our mandate. And I can say that it has been successful because one, we've done, I think, some 3-4 summits. And you know, summits are very important because it brings all people together. There is B to C, that is business to customers, and there is business to business, B to B. So that is our intention, to do or hold these summits for our people to interact with other businesses, maybe outside was an issue, and also globally.
Okay.
And through this network, they get partners. Through this network, it opens up ways for international markets. Yes, and it has been a success. We are also in a platform. We have a small WhatsApp group that is mainly for information. Any information relevant to business, we post it there. And every Friday, we've set Friday for marketing. So every Friday, if you are a member of a business community here, you are given that privilege to market your products.
Okay.
Yeah, to the people there and also to the outside.
Okay. How can one become a member?
It is very simple. You have to have a registered company, I mean business. And then we will give you a form, you fill, we know where your business is. There are rates ranging from 3,000 to 100,000. So you choose where you belong to.
What informs?
The size of business, yeah, and maybe what you do.
Okay.
Because we have those businesses who do cross-border businesses.
Okay.
Importers, yeah, exporters, yeah.
Okay.
You know.
And as soon as one registers, they become an active member?
Yes, immediately. We have a platform which is very efficient. It is called GlueUp. GlueUp is very efficient because once you register as a member, you will get your certificate the same day.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Now, you're planning something for this April. Tell us about it.
Yeah, it is true. We are planning Eldoret International Business Summit. This is our 3rd edition, but now this time round it is going to be bigger and better because we are calling it international. We've partnered with Dubai Chamber of Commerce and also China Chamber of Commerce. So it is going to happen this month on 24th to 26th at Troopers Mall. So we are welcoming all of you on board. We are calling upon the exhibitors, come and exhibit your brands, come and exhibit your products to these international delegates whom we've invited.
Okay.
Yes.
Nice. That is 24th to 26th at Troopers Mall, and somebody must be a member.
Yes.
So they have to register.
They have to register.
Wow,
yes.
amazing.
Yes.
Now, before we log out, just a simple question that I would ask with regard now to national policies and all that. We are seeing mushrooming of houses, that is affordable houses, and people have been so inquisitive about this. Sometimes most will have information, some might not be having the information on how to acquire these houses and how to become beneficiaries. Do you think, what are your thoughts about this? Is it affordable to the government or affordable to the consumer, who is the citizen?
As a player in the industry,
Yes.
and of course I'm not advocating for the government because I don't work with the government.
Sure.
But my encouragement tonight is that people should take up this affordable housing. The government is, having this as a vision because they want to see that the shortfall in housing is bridged through this affordable housing. And coming to your question about affordability, it is true, it is affordable because this is what it is affordable because you are paying monthly for 20 years. So you can imagine the rate.
Okay.
So people, please take up this. I saw Pioneer, it's almost complete, and the one in Kidiwa, and there is another one in Chepkoili. Please, let us take these units. Yeah. Even if you don't use it, you can rent it.
You can rent it and make money out of it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, sir, your parting shot to the young people who are doing business, who aspire to do business, and also to participate in policy making, because you are a champion of businesses in Wasingishu County, but sometimes youth take a backseat
yes.
in terms of championing for their rights and also speaking their mind about the environment in business, just as you speak to the young people side there in terms of getting into business, participating in decision making in business, and also being part of KNCCI, which is very important. Your parting shot, sir.
Thank you so much. I think tonight it is a privilege and honor. I know majority of the viewers are young people, and statistics are out there that 60% of the population of Kenya are young people. And so, for the young people, I want to encourage you that taking a bold step, moving out of your comfort, believing and taking the right decision is what is needed. You cannot just stay there and hope for things to work. It will not. It needs you to take that bold step. Take that initiative as a young person. Don't stay waiting for the government to assist you. Make sure that as a young person, you'll be innovative. You've had the privilege to go to school. You have the knowledge. So please, can you be creative? Can you innovate something? Can you sell something? Can you do something that at the end of the day, you find fulfillment in your heart that indeed I've done something? So that at least we together participate. And I want to call upon the young people. If you hear that there is something, for example, public participation, don't leave it to the older generation. Please be part and parcel, because the future of this country belongs to you. So make sure that you are part and parcel, make sure that you remain focused, make sure that you are innovative. Thank you.
Thank you for creating time to be on the CEO show. It's been insightful and also very educative. We are looking forward to host you in the near future.
Yeah. Thank you also for the platform. It is very important. I know it is assisting a lot of people,
yes.
So continue with the same spirit.
Thank you. Thank you so much, our viewers. Just to read one last comment. Amos Mungo is saying that ongera sana Bwana Melly kwa kazi nzuri hapo DANWILL na KNCCI. There's an appreciative voice and many more that we are getting. Thank you so much, our viewers, tonight for being part of this great episode, and also for your comments and contributions that you've always been making on the CEO show, and sharing this particular podcast has enabled us to achieve what you've always been part of. We are really grateful and thankful for being part of this tonight. We are also looking forward for next week, where we have another amazing guest prepared for you, a different topic, and also from a different industry. I'm sure you can't afford to miss. Always make sure that you subscribe on the YouTube channel, and also on our Facebook page, make sure that you follow, and also on TikTok, make sure that you follow, and also be sharing this particular podcast for somebody to get this insightful information. I'll be looking forward to have you again next week. I'll always be your host, Dan. May you have a good night, and God bless you. Thank you.
CEO insights, success stories, value markets, and financial education. This is the CEO Show. Hosted by Dan. Business Minds, pioneering and inspiring entrepreneurs. Creative talks, CEO insights, success stories, value markets, and financial education. This is the CEO Show. Hosted by Dan.